So how did I double my testosterone levels and 2.5 times my free testosterone levels? Well, it's really important that we understand how this works from a nutritional point of view. And when I say nutrition, not just the macronutrients, but also the micronutrients as well. So let's have a look. So what do you think the very first foundation is of having optimal testosterone levels from a nutrition point of view? It's actually about caloric abundance / maintenance. And why is this important? This is important because as an organism won't, in nature, wouldn't obviously reproduce if it doesn't have the sufficient energy to do it. So think of testosterone as a reproductive hormone, and it's a hormone that is only really optimized and present once you have basic survival level nutrients available. Then your body focuses on feeling good and optimizing. If you don't have that, you're tending just to meet your homeostatic needs of existence, which is to breathe, to live, to get through the day, to go through your bodily functions and processes. But what happens is when you get a caloric abundance, or at least maintenance, it signals to the hypothalamus, and it is able to secrete human growth hormone, and it's able to secrete luteinizing hormone and FSH, and these are important for the reproductive hormones and organs in the body. And what happens is, we know this through the research, that when people compete for bodybuilding or whatever, and they reduce their caloric load over time, we have a deficiency in these hormones. And so it makes sense from a naturalistic point of view that if we're going to have optimal testosterone hormones, then we actually need to make sure that we're getting the sufficient amount of food and nutrients at the macro level. So that's the first layer. The next layer is we're going to break up what that food should look like. So there's also been studies done as to the macronutrient composition of the food and how that translates actually into our hormone level. So we actually have a look. Here is basically your fatty acids. And what's important here is we need to break them down further. So what's really, for a lot of people find this surprising, but actually saturated fat is of real importance to optimize your cholesterol synthesis inside your Leydig cells. Now, it is possible that your body does produce its own cholesterol, true, but what this does is when you have enough saturated fat, it actually optimizes the process. What the research has shown. Then you have your omega-3s, and these are the most lacking in the modern day diet, and these get found in fish, grass-fed beef, and that sort of thing, to optimal ratios. Also important is omega-6s, and not going over the top with omega-6s, because the natural Western diet lends itself to increase omega-6s. And then we have omega-9s, and a great source of that is actually olive oil, and we've got studies that those who actually ingest more of omega-9s, it actually helps the Leydig cells uptake, and it streamlines the process and optimizes the process of conversion into testosterone at the intracranial level. So basically what that means is that you're going to get optimal testosterone inside the body as you increase your omega-9s, which is a simple serving of 2 tablespoons of olive oil per day. Let's move up. Now that we've dealt with fatty acids, let's deal with your essential minerals and vitamins. So basically this is your micro nutrition. What's important here is I'm going to give you the biggest vitamins and minerals that are found to be lacking when it comes to testosterone production. Obviously, all-round optimized body, having all your vitamins and minerals is important just for health, but we're looking at the most common ones that seem to be deficient in the modern diet, that when they are put back in, they make a massive difference to optimizing the middle-aged man. So we've got vitamin D, hugely important, vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin E. Now, all of these have very important roles in the testosterone manufacturing process, and if you miss any one of them, there will be specific consequences along the process and it won't be optimized. But as you supplement with those, if you are lacking in them, you're going to notice a massive bounce back of your hormone level. Now let's have a look at some of the low-hanging fruit that are the most common deficiencies in terms of minerals. And we have things like zinc, magnesium, selenium, and boron. And again, each of these will have very specific processes to do with your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your Leydig cells, your testicles, your blood flow. Particularly boron is a great one that will help reduce SHGB, your sex hormone binding globulin, and increase your free testosterone should you need that. So each one of these will actually have specific impact depending on what your issue actually is. Up here we go back to the macronutrients, but it's the ratio of carb to protein ratio. Now there is actually some research to say that carbohydrate is of benefit to testosterone levels. Not so much research in terms of protein being directly of benefit to testosterone levels, but where protein does come in is if you have minimal input of protein over time, your body will not recover if you're doing resistance training, and therefore you'll have less androgen receptors to take in the testosterone. So it's kind of a long-term one, the protein, but definitely at the short-term end, you need sufficient carbohydrate to optimize testosterone. And now we get to the additional supplements that aren't specific to the minerals or the vitamins, but these are things like fenugreek. There's some research to say that this will increase your total testosterone. There's something called tongarali, which has a similar benefit. Then we have something called DIM, and this will tend to have more of a reducing and detoxifying effect on the estrogens in your body. So it will have the net effect of boosting your free testosterone because it's taking care of the estrogenic effects. And then you've got something like ginseng, which is showing to have a boosting of testosterone effect as well. So what I wanted to do was just give you the overall synopsis of some real key things that stand out, that stick out really obviously when you look at where the deficiencies are testosterone wise. But if you want to start with the basics, increase your caloric load, ensure you're having good amounts of good saturated healthy fats, optimize your micronutrition, specifically foods with vitamin D, B, A, and C, specifically optimizing zinc, magnesium, selenium, boron, ensuring there's adequate carb to protein ratio, and then if you want to optimize it even more, go for these supplements, fenugreek, tongarali, DIM, and ginseng to regulate and create the optimal ratio between your testosterone and your estrogen. So there we have the synopsis and the overall summary of the nutrition package to get going from a testosterone point of view. Cheers.